I'll never see him again.
Tears. Text messages.
All right, this is from Karen Reed to John O'Keefe. You've really hurt me this time.
And a field trip to a crime scene. All that capping off an explosive first week of testimony in Karen Reed's murder retrial.
I'll see you at sidebar. Come up here.
A 45-year-old accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV and leaving him to die in the snow. Her first trial ending in a hung jury.
This case has a little bit of everything and a lot of mystery. It's not just clear exactly what happened, how it happened, and that makes the case intriguing.
Reed is facing charges which include second-degree murder and manslaughter. She has pleaded not guilty. And the jury today taking a trip to where O'Keefe was found in a pile of snow in 2022. The Lexus prosecutors say Reed killed her boyfriend with. They're at the scene too.
Jurors always want to go visit the crime scene. It's particularly relevant because it's important to get a sense of how close the house is to where his body was found. How long a walk would it have been? Where was her car when she says she dropped him off?
Throughout the week, several key witnesses taking the stand, from first responders.
We were dispatched to an unresponsive male in a snowbank.
To friends of John O'Keefe.
I mean, they argued and bickered.
Good afternoon, Mrs. O'Keefe.
Some of the most emotional testimony yet coming from O'Keefe's mother, Peggy, who recounted the horror of losing her 46-year-old son.
He's bruised up. His eyes were closed. It's just not a good scene.
Peggy describing her interactions with Reed the day her son was declared dead.
When the defendant and her father came into your home, did you personally interact with the defendant?
No.
Was there any hugs, condolences?
No.
Outside the courthouse, the case dividing a community.
Free Karen Reed!
Free Karen Reed!
Hordes of protesters gathering as the retrial began.
You ready for the second round, Karen?
John was one of my neighbors. I want justice for John.
I'm down here because I believe in Karen's innocence.
For 3 years, the saga has been an obsession for true crime fans everywhere, sending many on social media into a frenzy.
There's way too many coincidences in this investigation to find guilt.
Questioning if Reed is truly innocent or has just evaded justice.
This case is divisive in the sense that it's either a murder or a police cover-up.
During fiery opening arguments, defense attorney Alan Jackson and prosecutor Hank Brennan laying out vastly different accounts of what they say took place the night of John O'Keefe's death.
She clipped John O'Keefe, fell backwards, hit his head, broke his skull.
There was no collision. She's the victim of a botched and biased and corrupted investigation that was never about the truth, folks. It was about preserving loyalty. You'll find that this case is the very definition of reasonable doubt.
It all started on a Friday night in January 2022. A blizzard was coming, and Reed and John O'Keefe were drinking with their friends at a local bar. Later that night, Reed says she last saw O'Keefe after dropping him off at a gathering at a fellow Boston police officer's home. She says she awoke in the middle of the night, and he wasn't home.
I called a few of his buddies, their wives.
I spoke to Reed in 2023. She said she'd called around, but no one had seen O'Keefe. So she went looking for him.
Now I have an immense sense of dread, like a fright in me that I have not experienced before.
Reed meets up with some of O'Keefe's friends, and they all return to the house where the late-night gathering had been. And then she spots him in the snow.
His eyes were shut, and he had spots of blood in different areas on his face, and he was still. Not stiff, but still.
John O'Keefe is soon declared dead. But the investigation is about to explode. Investigators finding pieces of a taillight that they say are from Reed's car at the crime scene, alleging they broke off after she hit him with her car.
I was talking to my best friend on the phone, and I said, there's a lot of cops circling. And I said, I think I'm gonna get arrested.
Karen Reed is arrested, then arrested again, as seen in this body camera video obtained and streamed by Max.
That's correct. Vehicular homicide and leaving the scene caused death and/or bodily injury.
I don't even have underwear. Can I put pants on?
Reed was ultimately charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene, and pleaded not guilty.
Would you say that you were angry with John that night?
Yes.
Could you have been angry enough and slightly drunk because he had annoyed you that in the fit of rage you just backed up and
Never.
tried to tap him?
I would
Not
never.
to try to kill him, but try to
tap him with my 6,000-pound full-size SUV. To hit John's body with my car. No.
In the months leading up to the first trial, Reed's defense team arguing a stunning new theory that the injuries on O'Keefe's body were not consistent with him being hit by a car. They claimed she was framed.
There are people in that house that are actually responsible for his death and who murdered him.
The prosecution insisting that no one at that party had anything to do with O'Keefe's death, and they denied that Reed was being framed. The homeowner even testified in the trial, contradicting Reed's account.
And at no point in time over the course of that evening or the early morning there did John O'Keefe or Karen Reed physically come into your house.
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed never entered my house.
After weeks of testimony and 5 days of deliberations, the jury was deadlocked.
I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
Ronnie Stanislaw was one of the 12 jurors in that first trial.
Our understanding as a group was it has to be unanimous on all 3 counts.
According to some of the jurors, it seemed like they were unclear as to how to fill out a verdict sheet. They were unclear to the fact that they could be unanimous, whether it be guilty or not guilty, on some charges, but also hung or divided on others.
Was there one piece of evidence that you thought was the most important?
It's the damage to the vehicle and the injuries that were sustained by John O'Keefe. To me, it was not consistent with the damage to the vehicle. In my experience, and what I have seen before as a medical provider.
Stanislaw was a trained paramedic in Boston. In the retrial, prosecutors over the past week have painted Reed and O'Keefe's relationship as fraught and tense, reading text message after text message exchanged between the two the day before he died.
From the defendant to John O'Keefe, tell me if you're interested in someone else. Can't think of any other reason you've been like this. From John O'Keefe to the defendant, nope. Things haven't been great between us for a while. Ever consider that?
Prosecutors are trying to show that their relationship was spiraling and that this became almost the culmination of that.
If convicted, Reed could face life behind bars. The trial is expected to last several more weeks.
Our thanks to Matt. For much more on this story, watch Impact by Nightline, Secrets in the Snow, the murder retrial of Karen Reed, now streaming on Hulu.